following program is classified G. It's suitable for all ages. We would like to remind our viewers that the views expressed in this program by our participating guests are solely viewpoints of them who take part and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network. This is an opinion-based program.
Sri Lanka, the paradise island, the pearl of the Indian Ocean, the nation of smiling people, the land of the lions. And yet, discord, distrust, division and dissension rules the modern day.
Wait, didn't we do this already?
Well, this is Sri Lanka, so we have to keep reminding it over and over again.
An all-new Get Real, Sri Lanka rising. With many challenges at hand and many more to face in the future, the country is looking at a mammoth climb towards success and prosperity. After being battered by COVID, a rugged economy, and more so, very little support towards a better change by the people of this nation themselves, the task at hand seems to be a daunting one. With the vaccination efforts being one of the most successful drives in the world, and now also slowly getting the economy back on track, the need to understand that we as the people of this great nation must rise as one becomes more evident day by day. To do that, we just gotta keep asking the same question that'll bring us what we need. Can we reset our mindset in a manner that will be beneficial to all Sri Lankans? For insights, tonight I'm honored to be amid a true Sri Lankan icon and a brand ambassador of our nation, musician Santhush Weeraman.
From Studio 24, with opinions that matter, it's time to get real with Mahieash Johnney.
A very good evening, everyone. Good to be back on the air after a small break. Tonight, I'm thinking of continuing that positive discussion we had in The Great Sri Lankan Reset series, which we aired a few weeks back. It has a treasure trove of information by experts in our nation from various fields who gave stellar advice on how we really, as a country, should change our mindset and be more proud of our heritage, our values and self-identity, and work towards a common goal. So if you missed it, please check it out. It's there on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Derana English. Well, tonight in my opening statement, positivity amidst negativity. As a nation, we have many problems. The economy has taken a massive hit from COVID. We are yet to know the true impact and what we may have to do in the future in order to curb the repercussions of the economy right now. And on the other hand, the government wants to keep pushing towards development and prosperity and deliver the promises it made to its people during the election campaign, which was way before COVID. So many challenges at hand. But to face those challenges, the only thing we seem to be doing successfully is looking at our television screens and screaming at each and every one. For example, suppose you're a fan of the opposition. Well, in that case, you must be screaming at the government. And if you are a fan of the government, then towards the opposition. Because in our minds, we think the government is just a corporation that we've set up to work for us. And they need to do everything, each and everything in our lives. Anything goes wrong in our lives, government is responsible. You got COVID because you didn't wear a mask? Well, government is responsible, right? Just think for a moment. Let's take that whole theory and apply it to something easy to understand, like a family setting. See, we can call our father the government, our mother the opposition. Then we, the children, are the citizens of this nation. So right now, what's happening is that we, the children, are screaming at the father for not doing enough, or the mother for not supporting us enough, while forgetting that we, as the children, we too have a massive role to play if we are to keep our family successful. In my opinion, since independence, we've tried all parties available to run this country. Yet we keep facing the same problems time and time after. This time around, we thought we could bring in a leader from outside of politics and maybe he could change everything in a jiffy. However, we all now realize that it too is not enough because we changed the head and kept the infested, decomposing, decaying body. The only thing we've not done as much as a nation is to change how we, you and me, see the nation, see about this nation and feel about it. If we fail to feel good about our country, take charge and reverse this narrative, what hope can we have that the outside world would do the same? Well, I hope to discuss more on this with my guest tonight, a Sri Lankan entertainment icon who has been a tremendous brand ambassador for this country, Sri Lanka, since the start of this millennium, musician Santhush Weeraman. But before that, there's another sector that can help us to change the narrative of our nation around the world. Danidu Ithanamasam joins me right here in the studios to tell all about that. Good to see you, Danidu. For a change, you're in the studios tonight. What are you focusing tonight about? We've been saying, all throughout, we have to change the narrative in terms of what Sri Lankans are thinking about themselves. Right now, tonight's real story, what is your focus?
So I think, as you contextualize very well, the entire Reset series, we try to focus on what was behind the scenes, what was working towards getting this the Reset actual mindset forward. So tonight in this real story, given the guest and given the kind of background that we are coming in, we're going to focus on entertainment solely and really move on to how entertainment can change and affect the narrative of Sri Lanka in the real world. So over the course of civilization, the world has discovered various branches when it comes to entertainment. Sri Lanka has also enjoyed the fruits of having some unique and iconic creations that have cemented their place in various arts. But it is unclear how exactly these art forms have contributed towards furthering the cause for Sri Lanka. Cinema, music and other art forms have been a cornerstone in Sri Lanka's identity. When assessing the journey of cinema, which began from the movie Rekaba, has made great strides in bringing together a number of talented artists from across the country. This has been witnessed in more modern movies such as Funny Boy and The Frozen Fire, which has made it to the global stage in terms of recognition. Quite recently, Sri Lanka has also begun its pitch to initiate the promotion of film tourism within Indian cinema as well. This was manifested in movies such as The Bridge on the River Kwai, which won the Best Picture award in 1957. The movie was filmed in Kitulgala, Sri Lanka. The pitch to bring in film tourism has been coupled with recent wins in the international platform for domestic cinema as well.
Okay, how do we take Sri Lanka to the world? It may sound simple, but it's very, very difficult. So we have to make a film that depicts Sri Lanka and take Sri Lanka to the world. And there's so many good, fantastic, beautiful cultural stories in our 2,500-year-old culture. I mean, we've had stars. We've got some huge names. For example, right now, Yohani is doing a great job. We had people like Bill Forbes, Sandra Adama, Desmond Kelly. Sandra Adama was the first Sri Lankan ever to appear on Top of the Pops in England. But India, I mean, why do we always stop at India? I mean, the world's a big place. So let us take our talent to the world. Let us get on the charts in America, in Great Britain. I mean, if Great Britain and Hollywood are recognized here in Sri Lanka as well as in India, then let's make some films and do some songs for the rest of the world.
Sri Lanka's music industry has played an important role in building the uniqueness of our culture. This has varied and diversified in current status quo to include multiple arrays of modern musical trends. Yohani De Silva's recent feat, where she managed to win over the hearts of millions around the globe with her cover song Manike Mage Hite, provides a good context as to the potential Sri Lankan music has for vertical penetration into different countries. The music video on YouTube has garnered over 169 million views, alongside the fact that Yohani is Sri Lanka's most subscribed individual artist on the platform.
I've auditioned close to 1,000 artists in my current role as the NR for Peta Effect. It's been amazing talent. I've seen so much of artists. But the sad reality is the parents would always tell them, look, you need to find a job. This is not something you're going to make a living out of it. And when that happens, these people are not going to, evolve into people who would change the country or the narrative for good. Now, if you look at a country like India, this country is so big. The hubs, entertainment hubs, are like Kerala for South. Then you have Mumbai. That's basically the Bollywood hub. People travel, like kids, 18-year-olds. They come and live in Bombay, like at smaller places. With that experience, exposure, the product that comes out later is definitely going to be so much profound with substance. I'm very confident our artist has the ability, talent, all of that to change the narrative for good for Sri Lanka.
When we go out, it is our individual sportsmen, individual corporate leaders, people like us, the entertainers, maybe the entrepreneurs, the creative people. They are going and fighting their own battles and doing it outside. But there is no consolidated strategy coming from within as a state to put all these equations together. Now, if you take a country like Singapore, whatever, all these people, the sports, the creative industry, maybe exports, all of these are part of this big macro picture. But we don't have a macro picture. So we are all fighting our own battles and we all have our own visions. So singular brands are really doing well.
The foreign narrative has been saturated with extremely derogatory claims about the country's treatment of minorities from nations which have had some truly atrocious human rights abuses that have continued to modern times. In assessing a few examples, the treatment of the black community in the United States and other people of Asian descent, particularly the Chinese, provide a good understanding. This had expanded to the point where COVID-19 variants were blamed on certain countries of origin, creating communal unrest and distrust, which although was rectified, had severe consequences. When assessing creations such as Saving Private Ryan and American Sniper, the push Western media gives to portray its own people as the winners and the protagonists of historical conflicts, despite it not being the ultimate truth, having engraved and manipulated how most people view certain nations. The current government is also pushing the agenda to reignite the quality of the Made in Sri Lanka brand. A huge complementary factor to this effort would be the projection of its image in new lights through the entertainment industry. Now, being in conversation about the reset mindset within Sri Lanka, entertainment coupled with the creative arts industry within the country contains a vast untapped potential. Mahieash, this entire subject, this entire series is something that you can actually touch on with the guest tonight, given the fact that he has a huge background in entertainment.
True, indeed. Good stuff. Derana, thank you very much with the real story there. Let's take a short commercial break. On the other side, Sri Lankan entertainment icon, musician Santhush Weeraman. Right after this, you are watching Get Real. Be right back. Everyone, to Get Real. Well, time to get some context into the conversation we are having tonight. Tonight I have the pleasure of sitting with the other half of Bharti and Santhush. Santhush Weeraman, welcome to the program. Good to see you once again. Santhush is the co-founder of Bharti and Santhush Productions. He's also the director and co-founder of the SGM Films and SGM Integrated. Obviously more than 23 years of experience in the music industry, done a tremendous amount of work in order to bring the Sri Lankan brand across the world. When you all started last time when Bharti was here, I asked him when y'all started back in, I think in 1998, 99, when y'all started doing various experiments with music. First criticism that came was you're like eating the Sri Lankan brand, this and that. But then 23 years down the line, we cannot talk about Sri Lankan music without you. And Bharti and Santhush, and what you all have done to this entire industry, completely you all have changed the mindset from eating Sri Lankan music to being the Sri Lankan music. And even in fact, getting recognized all around the world. Last week, I think the Japanese embassy, which means the government of Japan, honored you with the Banka Award for 2021. What exactly is that, and what is that award given for?
First of all, thank you very much for having me. It's been quite a long ride, all right, almost 23 years.
Yeah.
It started in 1998. We received the Bunka Awards from the government of Japan. That's mainly for the contribution of music towards Sri Lanka and the arts and the culture. So I think we've influenced arts and culture in the country.
Not you think, you have.
When we started, we never thought that we will be such an influence. But during the first couple of years, we felt we want to make a difference in terms of music. That was not thinking that we want to change the country. But we really did want some change in the music for ourselves. So there was a belief in it, and there was a vision later on. And I think time has gone by and things have happened.
So tonight what we're discussing here, Santhush, is about mindset change, which you all embarked to do back in 1998 to change how Sri Lankan music is perceived in a global stage, but not just with the, we have the traditional, we have the Visharada type. Sri Lanka was known for that, and this entire region is known for that. But you want to break away from that. You want to get into pop, you wanted to get into rap, you wanted to get into these big mainstream musical genres, and you all wanted to put the Sri Lankan flavor there. Changing the mindset was quite important for you, because before you go and tell the world, you got to tell Sri Lankans, hey, we can do this. Talk us through that entire experience, what kind of criticism you all got, and then how did you all face that, because that's quite important. 23 years down the line, we are facing the same thing. The adversity has never changed. So share that experience with us.
Well, I think first of all, what's important to state is what you become aware of what you're doing. So right at the start, say a normal person, when they go into the music industry, what they see, what they feel is the sound and the music. So it is just a song right at the start. Then you realize music is far more than a song or a sound, right? I mean, that's why if you take the history of the world, right, arts and culture have made a strong impact. So it is far more than just a song that you hear on radio or TV, or it is far more than that. So once you've come to the industry, you realize that through arts and culture, you could create an impact towards society. You could change certain thoughts. You could create a paradigm shift in thinking. So then, through music, obviously, we are passionate about certain problems, right? As human beings, we've been through so much, and then you realize that yes, through music, you could do a lot. So in Sri Lanka, or any other part of the world, as a citizen of a country, or say if you belong to a particular place, your identity is the first most important thing for you to know, for you to feel, for you to be proud of, in order to get somewhere. So as Sri Lankans, it is important for us to know what is our identity, not within the country, but also what should be our identity in terms outside the country. Now, there is an inner identity that we connect with our past. There is an identity that we should connect with our future. As a country, we have always been very strong with our past.
Yes, 2,000, right? 3,000 years
we
of
always
history.
Very proud about our history. But do we have that understanding or that feeling of an identity with regard to our future? Our history has changed. I mean, the current culture we have is different. Then through music you start seeing all these things, and you realize through music you could create an impact. So as Sri Lankans, again, say to the question you asked, something that I firmly believe is, it is important to understand the future identity of Sri Lanka. Why are we Sri Lankan? What do we believe as Sri Lankans? What is the future? For example, now since we're talking about Japan, when you see the Japanese flag, that's the land of the rising sun. That's what it says, just a simple line. So that stems a very futuristic ideology to the youth, to that 12-year-old boy. He fosters that, he's nurtured in that environment. I'm going to be this great citizen of Japan who's going to contribute, who's going to change the world. I have so much of history, all this, so we have the same thing. But what we do inside the country is we divide. What we need to do is, apart from understanding the rich differentiation we have within the country, how could we get together and also create that future, that futuristic idea? It is Sri Lanka who has say as a country, we have so much that we have not shared with the rest of the world.
Yeah, we just talk about our tourism, we talk about our food, and that's it.
Yeah. So basically, if our future can take that to the world, they will be great citizens, and they will make our country great.
I want to get deep into that particular subject of getting the youth involved, and more also getting them proud about the country, because what we see go on Facebook, I'm pretty sure you know it very well when you go into any kind of a concert you hold, or you speak to the youth, you see that they're passionate about it. But no sooner you talk about, politics in terms of, taking this country to the future, because politics is embedded in terms of where this country is going. Completely different point of view. You can't find youth who agree with any administration. Everybody is against everything. So we see that there is a massive problem here. But we are not, we keep saying this, unite. But actively, I think the issue has always been, they don't know how to do that because nobody has shown them how to do that. What do you think?
No, it's like, Mahieash, it's like this. What I feel is, the problem is, from the time that we've known, what we've heard is people saying unite. Why do they say unite? Because they feel that we are divided, is it? Otherwise there's nothing to unite, right?
Exactly.
Right? But then, has anyone come and inspired us as to whom we should be in the future? Again, I'm going back to your first question, because now, I'm actually treading into a very sensitive area.
Yeah, I know.
Right? You take our flag. It's all about division.
Yes.
Does it inspire a child to be what they want to be in the future? This is my country. This is what I'm going to, change in the world. This is what I have to offer to the world. This is my dream. Is the Sri Lankan dream written in that? Yes, once you study very deep into it, yes, we see the deep roots in it, and yes, that takes years for a person to understand. Once they pass 50, 60 years, then they realize the inner depth of a flag. But for a child, but say for the normal citizen, that more than the inspiration, we see a division. So what I'm saying is, we need to have so many resources to enrich our youth, to inspire. What we need is not for us to come and say, let's unite. Why do we unite? We unite for a cause.
Yeah.
That
keeps happening, right? When there is a cause, you are united.
Yes. So that cause is the inspiration. When we have a
cricket match.
When we have a cricket match, we unite.
Yeah.
Why? There is a cause. So when there is a soccer match, or there is athletics or whatever, we unite. When there is music, we unite. But there is a cause, right? For example, I'll tell you, we did this song called Yal Parliament, right? Now, from my childhood, what I've known is, when there is a problem of say friction in the country, we create peace songs. So peace songs, we have Sinhala, Tamil, English, and then we flock from Pitakotua till Moratua. We hold our hands and say, yes, we are united. What does go in the subliminal mind? We are saying we're united because we don't have peace in the country. Because we are not.
Without saying,
because we're divided.
Yeah.
So that's going in your mind. And then suddenly, when you're singing this song, suddenly a Tamil part comes and you don't understand that.
Yeah.
So you feel that division. Then the Tamil person would listen to it, and suddenly a Sinhala part comes. That sounds, it doesn't comprehend that. So it's division. Automatically after you finish that, when you go home, you're like,
You will sing the part that you are comfortable with.
Have we united now? So therefore, we want to do this exercise. We did this song with Hariharan called Yal Panamin. So Yal Panamin, again, I'm going back to the subject matter, that that whole common thing. Yal Panamin talks about a song, talks about love, which is applicable to both parties. So here the song is about love, and then what we have done is we have brought the sound element, so that both fractions understand it so well, they feel it well. So basically the sound and the music was predominant. You see it very strong. So that was the first song which came #1 in the Tamil chart and the Sinhala chart. Both people felt this is our song. And we play, and the whole exercise came in when the song was we went to Trinco, and we played this song after about 6 months of airing it, and then both parties, you could see them dancing. They're like, oh, they're dancing to our song, and then you could see, oh, ape sindhu natana. They're like, okay, we have something in common. So then you unite. So just say the answer to your question, we need to create a common inspiration to the youth with regard to their future, with regard to what they want to be. That Sri Lankan dream has to be created very, very inspirationally.
I want to talk about that Sri Lankan dream and try to get an idea how we can create it, because we've been trying to talk about since, like you said, 2,000 years of history with the kings and queens, and they are no longer here, we are here, but why are we the way we are right now? Let's take a short commercial break. I'm in conversation with Santhush Weeraman, one prominent individual who has contributed immensely to the Sri Lankan culture, the Sri Lankan music, and our brand around the world. You're watching Get Real. We'll be right back. I'm in conversation with entertainment icon here in Sri Lanka, Santhush Weeraman, part of the Bharatiya Santhush group. Santhush, you touched on a very important thing with regard to the youth, and you said about the fact that we had to create the dream, we had to inspire them. What we, even from the flag onwards, what we are saying is division, division, division. Everybody is looking at the flag and looking at which corner is my corner, and then they go and pretty much fight for it. That is happening now. Let's come from the past to the future. We all are here. This country is ours. What do you think? Where should the mindset change? Because if you look at the news, even our own news, you sit at 6:55, you come out at 7:30, the country is screwed. Everything is about negativity, negativity. Everything from A to Z. Positive stories get buried somewhere around maybe at the 20th minute or 30th minute or some sort. It's tiring to be this negative, continuously hammering, from all corners, go on social media, same thing. So here we are, we know what the problem is, we're not united, we keep talking about unity. Now, the world is looking at us and laughing. And you go to the world and say, no, we have a better brand. There's a problem there. What can we do, the people right now, whether it's from the corporate sector, the cultural sector, the government, anybody, I think the mindset needs to change. So what do you think we need to do right now in order to get to that particular point where obviously we can, it's not that we cannot?
It's a very deep question you asked. I could talk for days with it. It's like this. Now, the reason why people get to hear what they should hear and what they should not hear is because there is an influx of info out there, and Media has become a business. It is a business. Entertainment, music, that's a business. We should understand that. So obviously politics have come into it. And it is a bit of a mess. As a country, we've always had our time. We've been laid back people. We've had time for us to think. Then with the history, culture, with the when you compare, we've been people who've thought about our future. I mean, we have always thought about ourselves. But right now, the way the system works with media social media to all these things, before we think about something, we are made to think. And it is human to grasp a negative thing and to be entertained by a negative subject than something very positive. So I think maybe, I don't know, whether they should start from parenting or even media, they should get together. They should really get together and understand, okay, apart from this, I'm being very open, right? Because they could change a lot in the country.
Yeah, of course.
Right? For example, currently, we don't have a proper programming system for the children.
True.
Right? Starting from 4:30 till 7 o'clock. They don't see anything inspirational. They're not in their childhood world.
Like how we were.
Yeah. It's either a brand who wants to come and take advantage of the time and they would sponsor something, or there is something very, very close to it, or there aren't any proper creative values.
But
right, so that is there. So, but I'm trying. I know it is more than through regulation, right? Through regulation, you could change a country, but I think it is the time of the hour where people of the country should come together. The corporates should come together and understand. Okay, we need to change, because to a certain extent we are being controlled. This is the way. If you take the history, the West world has always been in control. That is the way they have survived. Even today, it happens, but in a different way. When the British came to conquer India, they said this place cannot be conquered. With 10,000, we can't. It has so much of culture, heritage, their education, their philosophy, so much. We cannot conquer this place. Only way we can conquer this place, we break their backbone of education. We break their system of culture. We break that, yes, we can conquer India. And you know very well, Sri Lanka also has the same kind of philosophy. Maybe certain areas we are richer with Buddhism, to all those things. And I'm not taking a religious aspect. Religion is Buddhism as a philosophy, how it has inspired the rest of the nation. Right? Even other religions. We have integrated so much. So Sri Lanka, as a country, 20 million people, we are a different nation with a lot of rich values. So with all these, with Facebook, to all these media technology coming in, yes, we are being controlled. Yes, our minds are changed. Yes, we are being divided. So it is time of the hour, more than regulation, more than laws and all those coming in. The most responsible corporate people in the country who can create a change, who can make decisions. They should get together and understand at least the future of our children and create that content, create how create those resources, how our mindsets will change, where positivity will come. I'll just touch one more thing. Even the corporates need to. I'm not trying to advise. I'm just saying what I feel. Right? If you take, say, as a country, even the corporates, we always try to let's say eat into another market space without having one vision. Even corporates should have one inspiration, one vision, and it should be global. Not just inside this small tiny island looking at 20 million people. We have 8,000 million people out there, and we have so much to offer. So if you are inspired in tourism, if someone is inspired in hospitality, if someone is inspired in, they want to take let's say FMCG out there, you continue with that. But what's happening is, in Sri Lanka, you get the top corporates, they do banking, they do retail. Then once they feel that the market is saturated, they go into the medical industry. Then from there, they go into media. Then they go into, let's say hospitality. They keep, and everyone keeps on doing. You take the top 10, 15 blue chip corporates, they just keep on saturating. Where are we going? You get one out of few brands who believe, okay, we are in apparel, we are in this particular area. They have grown, they have when they feel say the Sri Lankan market is saturating, they've gone outside the country. It is not horizontal growth.
Exactly.
It is a vertical growth. So that has been inspired even at micro level. Even the farmer. We need to build that dream.
I keep going back in this program. This is happening because of a lack of education, isn't it? When you tell a child that the white skin pretty much does the best, and our guys and girls who are inventing in some village, it will not have the Tesla type of a production lineup, but has a very effective machine or an invention that is never appreciated. I think during COVID time, if I get it correctly, there was a person who invented a machine that can run with water. That's it, nothing. It's gone. If by any chance water is something that could be utilized in vehicles, my God, that is a massive income earner for this country. The government doesn't come up and back them up. The people are not appreciative of it. It's always trying to figure out, that is not bent right. It should have been this. That comparison is eating into our Sri Lankan identity, because no sooner we take a Sri Lankan product, the comparison is whether it's an American version, but the American version would be just shit, utter shit. And here we are trying to get like milk.
Yeah.
Sri Lankan milk is one of the best in the world, but yet we want to get something from New Zealand, make it powder, bring it here, put our own water and re-drink it, whereas we have the best milk in the world. Not understanding that education is a massive issue, because from the small day onwards, we've been taught, if your skin is brown, rethink. If it is white, that's it. Isn't it?
Yeah, very much. Apart from that, I think within our education system, maybe that's the way it has been in the country.
No, it goes back to what you said about the British.
Yes,
they started with that, and here we are still doing it.
Yeah. They divided us and left us, and we are still in the same place. We have not been able to get ourselves together, not in terms of being united, in terms of ideology, because still we think like islanders. True enough, we are islanders, but we are fairly a large country with 20 million people.
Yes.
And we have something special, with regard to the resources we have, everything, the human spirit we have, our ideas, we have something special. But only thing is, someone needs to come and tell, at least maybe through education, you are special not because you could do this only within the country. You are special because you can do this outside the country, and make them feel, empower them. You say your greatest highlight is not within the country. No, go outside the country. These are the opportunities, right? There are so many. I'm not going to an industry, but there are so many industries.
Share with us. When you go around the world, you have concerts all around the world. You meet people from various walks of life. What do they think about the Sri Lankan brand? What a German person would say, when they hear your music? Pretty much, I'm sure they don't understand some of it. But what do they say? How do they feel? You're a person coming from a country called Sri Lanka, coming to a country called Germany, or whatever the big Western nations. Well, I think recently you all had in America. What are they saying? What are the Americans telling about our brand?
The harsh truth is, majority of them, they don't know about the country.
True.
Right? If they hear something Sri Lankan, majority would feel that is India. So we take half a day to explain them, So now we could come back in the country, we could hide it and say, no, they are not. They know about us, and we can tell the next generation also, this is the, no. I think we need to stop that. We need to tell the generations, yes මේක උතුම්ම රට තමයි හැබැයි ලෝකෙ ඉන්න භාගයක් මිනිස්සු මේක දන්නේ නැහැ.
True.
We feel it is a uttumma rata, yes, because we are born in that, yes. But we need to understand there are certain things we are not uttum.
True.
There are certain, if you take certain commodities, services, there are people out there in the world, they do better than us. That has to be told to the children. You need to get your act together because we can do better. What we tell them is, you are the Uttumma people, Uttumma country, you are the greatest, and they just thrive on that without doing something for themselves. Because the reason is this: if the world doesn't know about us, that is the greatest advantage we have. It is not a drawback, right? For example, it's okay. Going back to music, right? Let's say, why did Paul McCartney go to Africa, right? He lived with them. Why did they go to India? Because to get that flavor, get that nourishment. So they brought the late in the tung late, that whole that entire thing, the late in the evening. Yeah. So they brought the African flavor. Then you've heard the Jamaican flavor, Bob Marley to everything, hip hop to everything, including the sound of pygmy, including the sound of Aboriginal music. So you need something different always, something new to create something big in the country. That's how that's how K-pop came into the world. So what's this next sound that the world has not heard? The Sri Lankan sound, yes. The drums, the entire thing. So we need to tell that to our children. Look here, this is opportunity. We don't show opportunity to our children. We don't. In our education system, we tell them we are the greatest. But that's not going to make them. You need to show. Okay, you are good, but you need to get here. This is where our country is right now. Centuries ago, yes, we exported rice, but we are not exporting rice. We can. So that has to be the. Just take a child. A child who feels that, whatever hardship they're going through as a family, everything, right? Eventually, they are the people who create something great for the rest of the generations of the families. Because they've seen, only thing the parents have given is good values. So we need to be honest and give them good values and at least have some hope for the future.
That's the biggest issue, finding that kind of hope in order to make sure that we can inspire. But still, the younger generation would think in a different manner than what we've been taught throughout, and hopefully see that they would break the barriers and go beyond. I want to take a short commercial break. I'm in conversation with musician Santhush Weeraman. We're talking about the mindset change. We've done this in the entire series. If by any chance, if you have not got caught or you have watched, please do check. It's on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Derana English. A lot of information with regard to how to change the mindset by a lot of individuals who are in that. In those respective fields. Let's take a short commercial break. You're watching Get Fit. I'm in conversation with Santhush Weeraman, Sri Lankan musician. We've been talking about change of mindset in order to go beyond what we can go as a country, as a nation, because yes, we talk about a lot of heritage, a lot of culture, a lot of everything, but here we are still importing every damn thing under the sun to this country, whereas we could export, like you just said, we were a country that was exporting rice to various parts of Asia. Santhush, changing the mindset, like cricket, like sports, music can do a tremendous amount of work. You just gave us an example about what you all did with the song, the Yalpan. That song cut across all the boundaries in terms of ethnicity, caste, creed, and everybody identified with that particular song. Now that is the challenge everybody has, identification. Where do they belong? Where do they belong in this country? And how can they be proud after belonging into that particular part? Because everybody is not the same. We have various walks of people coming from, we have the caste system as well. So in that term, what can the music industry do? In your opinion, what kind of a push can the music do? Because right now we see Johnney, global excellence. Is it going to be a one-time wonder, or what exactly? I mean, are we going to have the next 3, 4, 5, 6 people lined up to keep hammering it? You know, we've achieved. One person has done her part. Now, where's the rest coming? You know, what can the music industry do in order to change the mindset?
Well, I will give you a bit of a broader answer that would apply to all industries as to what I have learned from the music industry. Yes, in the music industry you get the music aspect, right? Where the arts, you know, prevails, right? So let's not touch that aspect. I think that is what we've been talking about all this time. Where it is an emotional experience, right? That whole emotional side of it, the whole artistic side of it. And that is what we talk also. If you know, in any kind of conversation, that is the main space we talk about, the aesthetic side of something. But what we don't talk about is the tangible side of that. The quantifiable side of music, the copyrights. You know, the copyrights, the how to, you know, say the rights of people. How to, you know, this is the exact word we use in the music industry, where you say exploit. It's not a bad word. That is the terminology in music. How do you exploit this sound track within the, you know, within the markets, right? So this is how the record labels think. Now, what I believe is that kind of thinking should come into the rest of the industries also, right? For example, now going back to that, if say as a country, apart from, you know, discussing about the aesthetic side of the music industry, the, you know, the artistry, yes, that's fine, let's do that. But we should have a forum where we discuss how to protect the intellect, because then only the future generation will come and create music, because they know that their intellect will be protected. When the intellect is protected, there'll be people who will support the intellect plus them, who will come with foreign direct, you know, basically with investment. Say industry starts happening.
What you're saying is, when we create an avenue for the younger generation to actually utilize their talent and make an income, make a living.
That's right.
And have that ability, instead of being, you know, you do one thing and then someone else is taking the credit for it or having a good time with it. Instead of that, on that level, if we do that, is what you are explaining.
Yes, because right now in the country, if you take the music industry, if you take the entire market revenue, not even 2% goes back into the music industry. 98% goes into other industries. So that is not healthy for the music industry of Sri Lanka. So if we I wouldn't say regulate that, actually regulate that and create structure, then there'll be people who will come to create, because they know that their future is set. So same way, we need to create that rational thinking in other industries also. Right? For example, let's say if you are exporting masks or whatever, if you that industry, we need to make them understand. Okay, you are creating this Sri Lankan mask, and you want to export this to Japan. We want to export this to China. This is not only Sri Lanka. So understand the Japanese market, understand the Chinese market, understand what the German wants. How should the packaging be? Then in terms of distribution, how should it be packed? Expose them to companies like IKEA as to how they think. When you're designing, don't go berserk in your only in the area of only designing. You're given a particular say amount. Okay, within 300 rupees, can you design this entire thing? How to package it? You can't put like 10 masks in one box. How can we put 100 masks in one box? So that whole rational thinking also has to be given to that industry. So they don't just be, so they just don't become just dreamers. They make that which is objective. So this applies to tea. Why are we just exporting tea as a commodity? Why can't we create brands in the country? So without selling our assets, without selling our natural resources, we need to create value in them and then start exporting. Going back to intellectual property, if you take Britain, they export about 4% of their GDP comes from exports of intellectual property. Why can't we customize Gamperaliya and export it to Japan? Why can't we? What is the state of the modern literature in the country?
Do you know whether it's existing?
Do we teach our current generation? These are the modern authors. No, we only teach them Martin Vikram Singh. Oh, Mahashuddha. So, we always know. We need to make them understand. These are the people who are creating that change. This is the ideology. Understand it. So it is not only the aesthetic side or the emotional side or something. We need to understand the rational side, the tangible side of the industries, and make them understand, starting from the farmer to the tea exporter to the except for example, say there are certain apparel industries. Why do they foster? Because they know the market, they know what to offer. They tell their people, make it like this, we need to be efficient. This is what the customer wants. Yes, it thrives. But then the rest of the industries, we don't do it. It is business. We need to understand that. For some reason, there is a whole aesthetic rush in the country. If some industry thinks in a very, very profound business way, they are crushed. I don't know who creates that norm, but that force comes. That prevails in the music industry also. If someone creates a good product who understands the aesthetics plus the rational side of a product, and where there is, where he wants to click, there's so much of suppression, there's so much of, see what happens to Yohani, right? So has she been, so that is important. We need to understand the model, we need to share that with everyone. This applies to every industry. Then this Sri Lankan dream will happen.
Santhush, always a pleasure talking to you. It has been very inspirational, and this is exactly what we thought of starting off the new season today of this program. Positivity is something that is in short supply in this country, and I think that is where we need to keep pitching it and try to get people to understand everything is not lost, everything is not gone. I really appreciate you coming here and having a chat with me and giving us a very good areas to think about. I hope it was very entertaining and informative to our viewers as well. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching. Make sure, in case you did not catch the whole thing, watch us or catch us on YouTube, youtube.com/Derana English. Make sure to stay positive, test negative, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
జీవితే ఫిక్సు సున్నితిందరా ఆదరే హవియలియము రాజనా
and the Godfather himself, Mr. Hari Hari. We back.
Yalpaname picha malgota. Yal Devi en vadinna nitya ranjana. Kolam rata beficha loke pata. Hite patuma arang yamuda avada kiya. என்று சொல்லுள்ள அர்த்தம் சொல்லவா. தே போன்ற பெண்களோட ஆடி பாடவா. இன்று எங்க உலகம் கொண்டு வேகம் சொல்லவா. கனவு ගොතා යාල් දේවියෙන් වඩින්න නිත්‍ය රංජනා කෝලම් රටා බැටිච්ච ලෝකේ පතා හිතේ පැතුම අරන් යමුද ආවඩා කියා